Hello, and welcome back or welcome to another episode of PostGradandSad. I'm your host, Ragan Savage, and today we're going to be talking about getting the job because you got the job. I know you did because you followed the steps, you did what you had to do, and if you haven't got an answer back or anything like that, I'm manifesting you will get that job. Just wait. You will get that job. Before we start, last week's audio was trash, and I apologize. I don't even know what happened. I literally did the same thing. The audio was bad, the video was bad. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put it out there, even though it's bad. Because sometimes you just have to do that. And this week's audio is going to be so much better because I just tested it. So yeah. But anyways, sorry about that. I want to do a little debrief about just the past week and kind of what's upcoming. So at my job, I did some extended training, which is really good. I got to help with, we have site visits. So basically, I work for a destination marketing organization. And so we have different clients that come into town. And basically our goal is to tell them why this is the only place they need to come to have their conference, to have their event, to have a tournament, because Louisville's the best. And I'm not just saying that because I'm from here and I work for that company. I really do feel like Louisville is a hidden gem. And so I feel like I kind of hit the jackpot with this job because I get to talk about Louisville. And it's funny because when I was in college, I went to 3 different schools. And my first 2 schools, everyone was like, oh my God, all you talk about is Louisville. You just love Louisville. You just talk about that all the time. And I was like, yeah, I do. I love my city. Been doing that. I really love hands-on kind of projects and being able, because I work in sales. So a lot of the time I'm sending verification forms to a hotel or to a venue or an event. But I feel like this past week, I actually got to sit in on a meeting. I got to give feedback. People were listening to my feedback. And, being younger and also a new employee, I feel like sometimes your initial reaction, even mine, is to maybe I shouldn't say anything. But thankfully, I have a lot of strong women in my life. My mom, my mentor, Lanisha Porter, my aunt, and just a big tribe of women that really encourage me and breathe life into me and say, yes, you are young. Yes, you are new, but you deserve to be in this space. And so I think that kind of helped me to speak up in those meetings, and have people listen to me, which was also good that they were listening. Cause sometimes you can talk in a meeting and people just will kind of brush you over, but I never had that experience in any of the meetings that I've been in. And so it makes it very encouraging to continue to kind of ask to oh, can I be in, another meeting, or is there another event that I can help with? Because I love the planning aspect of things. And so that was really fun for me to get to do. So let's see. So that's work. What else has been going on in my life besides, work? I'm going to Lollapalooza. I'm so excited. I am so freaking excited. I've never been before. The only festivals I've been to have either been a 1-day thing or a 2-day thing. I went to Forecastle a couple years, but never all 3 days. It was either 1 day or 2 days. I went to Gazebo Fest, and I feel like that's it. I haven't really been to a whole lot of music festivals. So I kind of got lucky. So my girlfriend, if you don't know her, you're living under a rock because I'm obsessed with her. I think she's amazing, intelligent, smart. I am captivated by her resilience, her mind, and just everything. I could go on. But anyways, so one of her friends ended up not being able to go. They ended up actually, I think something came up with work. And so her friend texted in the group chat and was like, hey, I can't go. I have these tickets. And so then a spot opened up because originally I wasn't going to go because those plans were made way before we even were dating, or when we were talking. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I want to go. So I just kind of just bit the bullet and was like, you know what? I'm going to get the tickets. I'm going to do it, because if I don't do this, I probably would have never gone, because my initial thing is always like, oh, that's so expensive. I don't think I want to do that, or like, I don't want to spend money on that, or blah, blah, blah. So I'm glad that I'm doing this. I'm very excited. I'm planning my outfits. I'm getting my nails done, and I got my hair done already. So we are just, we're getting there. I have 2 outfits for 4 days. So I'm very, very excited. We're all going to drive down. It's 5 of us. So yeah, that'll be next week. So I think next week's episode is probably going to be posted probably on a Tuesday, just because I am probably going to be out and about doing stuff, and I'll be working like from home that day in the hotel. So I don't know. It might be on Tuesday, it might be on Friday. It's going to get posted, whatever. But yeah, I'm super excited about that. And I'll be posting stuff on my Instagram and on my TikTok. And yeah, so that's kind of a little bit what's been going on in my life. But now let's get back to the episode. So you got the job. So today we're going to talk about basically like how to prepare for your first day, questions to ask, kind of like what to bring, what not to bring. And we're going to talk about some do's and don'ts after you get the job. Oh, okay. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but I got an email notification. So hopefully that is the last of that. Because I like to do a one and done kind of episode. Anyway, so first and foremost, how to prep for your first day. One of the things that I feel like was stressed to me is making sure that you are in business casual. And especially as a young woman, identifying woman, woman of color, Black woman specifically, it's tiring. It's sometimes frustrating. It's sometimes annoying, but we cannot dress the same way our other counterparts dress. And that is something that has been made very intentional, has been told intentionally to me by my mentor, by my mom, and all these successful Black women that I have in my life, and women of color in my life. So you just want to make sure you're dressing for success. And you don't have to break the bank to do that. A lot of the things that I have found, a lot of the things that I wear are either from Goodwill, from Ross, TJ Maxx, or from a friend. Like this is from TJ Maxx, this vest that I'm wearing, this white top is from TJ Maxx. I think my earrings are from TJ Maxx. Well, from my mom's closet, but TJ Maxx. So you just want to make sure that you're being intentional about how you're dressing, because when you show up, people are able to take you more serious. Like I don't know if this sounds bad, but it's like whenever you go into, I don't know, a nice restaurant and your server comes over and their shirt's wrinkled and their, zippers undone, they're not looking, just like put together for the scenario. It almost is like, I feel like I'm not gonna have good service. You know what I mean? Like one thing that I feel like my parents have always kind of like said is like, when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you do good. And so that's kind of been the mindset. You don't have to get the most expensive clothes and always put on makeup. I don't always put on makeup when I go to work. In fact, I don't ever put on makeup when I go to work because I don't feel like it. And so that's not what I'm meaning by like, you have to, look good to feel good. Just like, if you have like black, like pants and like a nice like top or a blouse or whatever, like there are a lot of different ways that you can create a business casual like attire without having to like go out of your way to like break the bank. And also when you're going like shopping for like a party or whatever, like if you see something that's like, oh, I could wear that to work or I could wear that to this, go ahead and get it because you're going to need it. Like you're going to need it. And my mom has told me that so many times. And every time I go out and shop for a party or whatever, I always forget that. So this is me telling you, just buy it. Just buy it. Especially basic like tops and like bottoms. Like, oh my God, just buy it. And then another thing that like to keep in mind is like on your first day, it's okay to ask questions and it's okay to reach out to your supervisor or your manager and to ask like, hey, like what's the lunch situation? I mean, obviously don't say it like that, but like my first day, my managers took me out to lunch. And then I think the next day I like brought my lunch or they catered in lunch for something. Like we usually have catered breakfast when we have our all staff meetings, which is like the first Wednesday of every month. And so they will cater Panera bread or some sort of like breakfast kind of item. Or if we have a meeting and it's during lunchtime, then they'll cater like lunch. But you just want to make sure that you know kind of what to expect. And I don't think it's a bad thing to ask, hey, like for lunch, are we gonna be going out to lunch or will we eat lunch there? I feel like that's a good question to ask so you kind of know how to prepare. And I did not like the second week, I was bringing multiple bags and I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. It's crazy. I'm the bag lady. I'm like Erica Badu with the bags. Like, no. So I literally typed in Google, I said, purse, work bag, and lunch bag in one. And I found one. And on the bottom is it's like kind of like a box. And on the bottom, there's like a little like zipper. It's like a little tunnel and you could put your lunch into there. And then on top, you could put like your computer and all that other stuff. It's so spacious. I have so much room. Like it's actually a problem because the more room I have, the more I want to pack, which is not good always. But doing things like that. And I think you can find I found it on, I think Packet or Packum or something, but you can get it on Amazon. Like there's different places to find it for sure. And then another thing that I want to encourage you when you get the job is to ask your manager or reach out to them about office supplies. Because my supervisor actually told me that she was like, okay, if there's some things that, basic necessities that you need, for the office, like a wall calendar, or if you need like pins or anything like that. Like they had pins, so I didn't really have to ask for that. But she was like, we're gonna put in an order for Home Depot, whatever. And so that was very helpful to me because I have never had a corporate job. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to bring my own computer. Like the first day I started, I brought my own computer because I didn't know. Like I just had no idea. I didn't know if they were gonna provide me one, and I probably looked so silly. But I'd rather be prepared than unprepared. And then also like, I feel like work kind of reminds me of like school. So like kind of think of like school supplies that you would like want for like your classes, even though you're not in class, but like items that you'd want for a class, like a highlighter or a notepad, or like I got a little like to-do list. So then like every day I know what I have to do and I always write out before I leave, okay, this is what I have to do tomorrow. So then when I come in, I'm not like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. And let's see. Okay, so another thing about like kind of like talking about like with like your desk and like office school supplies. I have not done this personally, so I don't really know why I'm giving advice on this, but make the space your own. Like I haven't put anything up really that's personalized just because that's not really like a priority right now. But I do want to put up like pictures of like my family, my friends, like my girlfriend. Like I do want to put like some pictures up and like things that like make it feel more enjoyable because it's going to be the space you're working in for a good amount of the time that like for majority of your day. So you might as well make it enjoyable to where you're able to, feel comfortable in your space. Okay, so now we're going to get into the do's and the don'ts when getting your first paycheck, because this is very important. So we have 3 do's and we have 3 don'ts. So we're going to start with the don'ts first. So I was advised by my mom to not make any big purchases because you haven't received your first check yet, so you don't really know what it's going to look like. And then also you don't really know what pay period you're coming in. So like if it's bi-weekly. You could be coming in the week. You could be starting your work week when they get paid. So then that means you won't get paid that week or the next week, but the next week you'll get paid. So it's like timing, but also just being intentional with your planning is very important. So yeah, don't make any big purchases. And then number 2, don't spend money that you think you will have. And like, if you're anything like me, especially when I was like serving, and I kind of figured out like, okay, so I average about $20 an hour when I'm serving. And I worked this amount of hours, so I probably made this much. And then it's like, if I work Saturday and Sunday again, and then I'm like putting in my calculator, like, okay, that's 150. Okay, that's 60. That's 80. Like, it's bad. It's bad. But in saying that, you're kind of already thinking like, oh, I'm going to have this amount of money, but you don't have it yet. So you go ahead and spend more money in the moment because you think you're going to be getting more money that you haven't gotten, if that makes sense. So don't spend money you don't have yet. Unless you have it, don't spend it. And even if you do have it, just like being intentional about where you're spending your money, like creating like a budget. My dad made me a budget sheet when I was in college, and I use that budget sheet now, and I use it on Excel, and I love it because it tells me, like, I type in like how much money I spend, for a gym membership or for my car insurance or for my car note or for this or for that, all this stuff. And so it just keeps me like on track. And so I will put in my link tree, like a budget sheet, the one that I use, but then also like a cute, girly one and stuff. And then this is something that I feel like I feel like people know this, but don't talk about like your salary with other people. My mom told me that before I started. And I think just because before I was in corporate, I was a nanny, and then I also worked at Texas Roadhouse. So it was a very common thing to kind of talk like, oh, well, how much did you make this shift? Or like, how much did you, like, it was very like not uncomfortable. Like everyone kind of like said how much they made. And like, if you were in a certain area, sometimes you made more if you had like bigger tables. So it wasn't like an uncomfortable thing. But going into like this kind of like corporate environment, like you want to make sure that you're like not really like prying or like asking. Just type it into Google. No, I'm kidding. But but yeah, so that's something that you just like don't want to do. And now to the do's. Okay. So like I said, you do want to keep track of, how much money you're spending on things and like your budget. That is like really important. So like make kind of like a list of where your money is going before you start the job, because sometimes you tend to spend more money when you have more money, and it's going to be important to kind of stay in that like budget range until you kind of have consistent flow of income and where you can and can't spend your money. And then number 2, so we want to be intentional with how we are spending our money. And I think I kind of talked about this with like the don'ts. But because you don't know where you're going to be coming in during like the pay period, you want to make sure that you're not spending your money on things that you don't really need. You don't really need. I think that's something important to like keep in mind. And then also another thing you want to do is, I don't think it's a bad thing to ask your manager or supervisor, or whoever, what their like what the pay period is, like if it's annually, if it's bi-weekly or if it's weekly, or however they do their pay period. I think that would be a good thing to ask prior to starting, so then you can kind of have a better idea of how you want to spend your money before you start your new job. Because I know for me, I ended up, my last day was on like a Wednesday. I started on a Thursday. My last day was on a Tuesday, and then I had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday that I worked, and then I got paid that next Tuesday because I came in on the last week of the pay period. So I kind of got lucky in that sense. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing to kind of ask what pay period you guys are on, or what pay period like the company's on. So yeah, that is everything on, you know, you getting the job and prepping for your first day, and how to best prepare, how to look. We want to look good, we can feel good, and we can do good. Asking questions about, you know, the lunch situation. Do they ever cater lunch? Are there ever times where, you know, they'll take you out to lunch? And then also making sure to ask kind of like what you should bring on the first day. You know, do they want you to bring your own computer? Will they give you a computer? Is it possible that that your company will, you know, pay for your office supplies? I feel like 9 times out of 10, they usually do, especially if it's like essential things. And by like essential, I mean like basic necessities. So like a wall calendar, if you need something to hold your pens, or if you need like a to-do list, like a notepad, post-it notes. I feel like those are things that are kind of deemed as maybe not like necessarily a need, but things that are like basic needs. And then also like making sure that we aren't spending, you know, what we don't have yet, and we do have the money that we're getting on a consistent basis, making sure that we're using our budget sheet, keeping track. I'll make sure that it's in my link tree. And yeah, that is all for today. Thank you for listening to PostGradandSad. Follow PostGradandSad on Instagram, TikTok, and follow my main page. Subscribe to YouTube, all the things. And I will see you guys next week. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.